Today we are going to be doing lesson 12.4, which is over histograms. Go ahead and make sure that you are on page 667 in your books. Our essential question for today says, how can you use histograms to display data? Yesterday we looked at two different ways to display data. We looked at a dot plot and we looked at frequency tables. So today we're just continuing looking at how to display data with histograms. When there is a large number of data values, it is helpful to group the data into intervals. We did this yesterday with our frequency tables as well. So we grouped those data points for like 3 to 7, 8 to 10, 11 to 13. A histogram is a bar graph that shows the frequency of data in intervals. Unlike a bar graph, there is no gap between the bars in a histogram. So on page 667, we have this unlock the problem that we're going to do together. It says, the histogram shows the ages of the winners of the Academy Award for Best Actor from 1990 to 2009. How many winners were under 40 years old? So if we look over here to the right, you can see our histogram. Our y-axis shows us the frequency. So all of these are how many data points would be in each interval. And then our x-axis has the age of the winners, and we have our intervals. So it's 20 to 29, 30 to 39, 40 to 49, 50 to 59, and 60 to 69. As we look, you can see how on the last slide it talked about how the bars are right next to each other in a histogram. So there's no space, they all butt up right next to each other, to show that it's kind of that range. It goes straight from one number to another. In order to answer our question, we need to interpret the information that is shown in this histogram. So the first thing we're going to look at is how many winners were between 20 and 29 years old. To do this, we're going to start by looking at this 20 to 29 interval age group right here. I'm going to look at the bar that's right above this value, and I'm going to see that it goes up to the frequency of 1. So that tells me that there was one winner who was between 20 and 29 years old. Then we're going to think about what other bar represents people who are under 40. So we would have 20 to 29, and then what other group would be under 40? So 20 to 29 and 30 to 39 are both going to be people and actors who are under 40. We've already counted and seen the frequency for the 20 to 29. So let's go ahead and find the frequency for 30 to 39. So we're going to think how many winners were between 30 and 39 years old. So if I look at the bar that's in the 30 to 39, I'm going to see it goes all the way up to the frequency of 6. So there were 6 winners who were between 30 and 39. Now, finally, I'm going to think I wanted to find the total number of winners. So I need to combine the winners that were between 20 and 29 and the winners that were between 30 and 39. So there was one winner who was 20 to 29 and 6 who were 30 to 39. So we are going to have a total of 7. 7 winners were under 40 years old. Take a second and flip the page to page 668. So on this page, we have a very similar question, but this time it says, the table shows the ages of winners of the Academy Award for Best Actress from 1986 to 2009. How many of the winners were under 40 years old? In that first question, they already gave us the histogram and we just had to read and interpret the data that was on it. For this question, we are going to go ahead and take just the raw data, meaning just the data points, and we're going to go ahead and make our own histogram. So the first step in making our histogram is going to be making a frequency table using the intervals of 10. So we did this yesterday. Our intervals are going to be between 20 and 29, 30 and 39, 40, 49, 50, 59, 60 to 69, 70 to 79, and 80 to 89. Take a second and count how many each of these values occur in those intervals. So they already counted between 20 and 29. There's 7 ages, 7 actresses who were in that age range. Go ahead and do your best to fill in the rest of this table, and then we'll check it. So they went ahead and they already did our 20s, so I'm going to cross these ones off for us. So all of the ones that are 20, I'm just crossing off because they already counted. And now I'm going to go through and look for ones that are in the 30s. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 of these actresses were between 30 and 39. I'm going to repeat that same process, but now looking for actresses who are in their 40s. So I have 45, 41, 42. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there's 5 actresses who are between 40 and 49. I have no actresses who are in their 50s. We have 1 actress who is in her 60s. No actresses between the 70s and 79, and 1 actress in their 80s. So now that we have looked at the frequency, we're going to go ahead, let me clear this, and we are going to set up the intervals along our x-axis of our graph. So they went ahead and they kind of started a histogram for us. And just like what we saw on the last page, we always want to put those intervals that are at the bottom. So all of our age ranges are going to be listed here at the bottom, with our frequency going across our y-axis, so going vertically. We're going to graph the number of winners in each interval. So we had 7 in the first one, so 20 to 29 is going to go up to 7. 10 who were between 30 and 39, so that one goes all the way up to 10. 40 to 49 had 5, so that's between the 4 and 6, which is 5. Take a second and see if on your page you can finish graphing these last 4 age ranges. So from 50 to 59, we have 0, so we don't need to draw a bar at all. We're just going to leave it blank. From 60 to 69, we had 1, so we're going to be going in between here, between 0 and 2. From 70 to 79, we have 0, and then from 80 to 89, we have 1 as well. So we're going to draw another 1 halfway between 0 and 2. So we've gone ahead and we have graphed each of these. And now we need to complete the histogram. Oh, so we already drew the bars. We already did that. My bars deleted themselves. So I'm going to go ahead, I'll draw them back in here real fast. There we go. So now we have drawn each of the bars, and now we need to find the number of winners who were under the age of 40. So again, we're going to be looking at just these 20 to 39, these two, 20 to 29 and 30 to 39, and we need to add the frequency of those together. So go ahead and look to see what is the frequency of 20 to 29 and what is the frequency of 30 to 39. So in 20 to 29, we have 7, and 30 to 39, we have 10. So the total number of winners who are under 40 years old is going to be 17. 17 of the winners are under 40. All right, go ahead and look at the questions 1 through 4 on page 669. So these 4 questions, this group of questions, are all related to this table that has the age of people at a health club. This is very similar to the question we just did in terms of what you need to do. So the first thing that we're going to do is complete the frequency table for the age data in the table to the right. Then you need to complete your histogram for the data. And then we have 2 questions to answer looking at the histogram. So number 3 says to use your histogram to find the number of people at the health club who are 30 or older. And then question 4 says use your histogram to determine the percent of people at the health club who are 20 to 29 years old. So go ahead and let's do questions 1, 2, and 3, and then we can work through question 4 together. All right, so they already figured out that there's 2 people at the health club who are between 10 and 19. So we have a 19-year-old and an 18-year-old. So now we're going to look at individuals who are in their 20s. So here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 6 individuals who are in their 20s. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 individuals who are in their 30s, and 1, 2 individuals who are in their 40s. So hopefully you were able to figure out your frequency table from that data. Now we're going to complete the histogram. So we saw on the last page that we need to write our intervals at the bottom. So I'm going to put 10 to 19, 20 to 29, 30 to 39, and 40 to 49. So those are my 4 intervals for the ages. And now I need to graph each of these on our frequency or on the histogram. So our frequency for 10 to 19 was 2. So I'm going to draw my bar going up to 2, and I'm going to shade it. And now for 20 to 29, I need to go up to 6. So remember, they're right next to each other. So on that same line, I'm going to draw up to 6, draw over, and I'll shade it again. So this shows us there was 6. From 30 to 39, we have 4. So right up next to the 20 to 29, we're going to draw our bar from 4. And then for 40 to 49, our frequency was 2. So we're going to draw it going up to 2. And obviously my bar or my histogram and my bars are not perfect. So don't worry if yours aren't either. So that's question 1 and question 2. And now question 3 says use your histogram to find the number of people at the health club who are 30 or older. So in order to do this, I'm going to look at all of the values that are over 30. So I'm going to start here at 30 and look at everything going over here, over this way. So in 30 to 39, we have 1, 2, 3, 4. And then in 40 to 49, we have 1, 2. So 1, 2, 3, 4 plus 2 is going to give us 6 members of the health club who were over 30. All right, the last question is a go deeper. So that means it's going to make us think a little bit more and go a little bit deeper into our math thinking. So it says to use your histogram to determine the percent of the people at the health club who are 20 to 29 years old. So we need to figure out the percent. So we practiced this with our relative frequency tables yesterday. So in order to figure out our percent, I'm going to think we have 2 people, because our frequency is 2, out of, and then I have to count how many people there are. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So we have 2 out of 15. And now we need to think about what that would be as a percent. So the first thing I'm going to think is yesterday we looked at trying to get our percents to be out of 100. But if I count by 15s, I can't land on 100. So the other thing that I can do is I can take my 2 and I can divide it by 15, and that's going to turn it into a decimal. So I'm going to think if I have 2, oh, you know what? I made one mistake here. I put 2, but let me erase this. Oh, I erased everything. That's okay. That's okay. I said that there was 2 people who were between the ages of 20 to 29, but I was looking at my 10 to 19 interval. I need to do my 20 to 29 interval. So there was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I actually need to do 6 out of 15, not 2 out of 15. All right, so what I can do is I can do 6 divided by 15, and that's going to get me a decimal. And from my decimal, we can change that into a percent. So if I have 6, I can't give you 15, so I have to put a 0, put a decimal, and then add another 0 behind that. So now I'm going to think about the number 60. Well, how many groups of 15 can we get from 60? So if I count, I can do 15, 30, 45, 60. So we can do 4 groups. Use all 60 of them. And so we have 0.4. And now we've worked and we know that 0.4, I can move the decimal 2 times to the right, which would get us 40, which is 40%. So these questions are a little bit tricky because they make us go back to percents, which we haven't done in a while. So if the denominator is a number that you can count by to get to 100, we can just multiply. Otherwise, we can divide it to make a decimal and change our decimal to a percent. So we practiced a little bit of work on those histograms, and you are going to go ahead and do your personal math trainer to practice some problems on your own.